Hello, ladies. It is day 12 of our 40 days of prayer for business breakthrough. And I know I say this every day, but I love this lesson. Oh, it just brought me such great perspective because it's on sowing a seed. So there are times to plant and there are times to harvest. And a really great point that author Mark Batterson brings up is we live in a society where technology can put us in touch instantly. Microwaves can warm up our food within 30 seconds. Like we are just like, I want this now. And yet seeds don't work that way. So this has just been such a beautiful thing. I kind of look back on my whole coaching career. I've been trying to do this since 2012, and it wasn't until kind of the last 12 months that things started coming together in a profitable way. I kept going. I kept persisting. I just kept honing in and listening to God, but I was planting those seeds so hard. So have you ever seen a sequoia tree? Oh my goodness. I was in Sequoia National Forest. It's in California. And these trees, they can grow up to more than 20 feet wide and 300 feet tall. And the root systems go down about 12 feet and then it stretches out 80 feet. And they are so resistant to disease, insect damage, and just even fire that it almost makes them indestructible, which is also why they live up to 2,000 years. Now, we have to think about this because the sequoia, this giant, the most massive tree there is, it also once started as a seed. And that is the power that it can produce up to $400,000 400,000 seeds in 1 year. And that's not just a tree, like that's a whole forest of trees. William Jennings Bryan, he once likened the mystery of God to that of a watermelon seed. And I want to just read this to you because I loved it. He says, I have observed the watermelon seed. It has the power of drawing from the ground and through itself 200,000 times its weight. And when you can tell me how it takes this material and out of its colors an outside surface beyond the imitation of art, and then forms in it a white rind, and within that, again, a side of a red heart, thickly inlaid with black seeds, each one in turn is capable of drawing through it 200,000 times its weight. When you can explain that to me, the mystery of a watermelon, you can explain to me the mystery of God. So if we're going to understand our potential faith, this gets likened so many times to the faith of a mustard seed, right? And it starts out tiny. This is the smallest known garden seed. Like every seed, it needs to germinate, and this particular seed, a mustard seed, can take up to 10 days to germinate. So sometimes, like our plants, our dreams take a lot longer than we think they should, or need to. But faith is what keeps those dreams alive. And even when they seem like they're dead and buried and nothing is coming, that's the very nature of a seed, is they go underground, they disappear, you don't see anything for days, months, years. And it seems like they're dead, but they're not, because they're just germinating and getting what they need to be able to break through. So if you saw a mustard seed and you didn't know what it was, you would have a hard time imagining what it could become. And when the potential is disguised in a super tiny small package, you would have no clue that this little tiny seed that you can barely even see might become the mustard that we put on our hot dogs today. But you have to understand that this is true of every seed and of every dream. Would you imagine that an acorn could become a mighty oak? And you'd never guess that a tiny little black seed might become a green watermelon with a red interior that tastes absolutely amazing, right? So in case you were wondering, this I thought was really fascinating. A tiny mustard seed contains all the nutrients we need to survive. It's packed with vitamins B1, B6, C, E, and K. It's a source of calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, selenium, and zinc. And author Mark Batterson says faith is a lot like that. Sometimes it doesn't look like much, but we never know what it can be. And a little faith goes a long way. In fact, a little faith will last an eternity. So towards the end of his life, Honi, the circle maker, who we are learning about, he was walking down the dirt road when he saw a man planting a carob tree. And he questioned him. He said, "How long is that going to take to bear fruit?" And the man said, "About 70 years. And then Honi said, "Are you quite sure that you will live another 70 years to see its fruit?" And the man replied, "Perhaps not. However, when I was born into this world, I found many carob trees that were planted by my father and my grandfather. And just as they planted trees for me, I am planting trees for my children and their children, so they will be able to eat the fruit of these trees." So this incident led to an insight that changed the way Honi prayed. And in a moment, he realized that praying is like planting. That each prayer is like a seed that gets planted in the ground, where again it might disappear for a season and we can't see what's happening under the soil, but it eventually bears fruit that blesses future generations. In fact, our prayers always bear fruit and for forever. So again, when we want things to happen at the speed of light, instead of the speed of a seed, we almost, take for granted what happens spiritually. That's technology. This is not what happens spiritually. And even in our business, we want our dreams to become a reality overnight. We want our prayers answered immediately. But we need the patience of the planter. We need the foresight of the farmer, and we need the mindset of the sower. And we worry far too much about the outcomes instead of focusing on what we can do, instead of focusing on the watering. We can't make things grow, period. We can't do it. I don't know how to do it. All we can do is plant what we have and water it. But if we plant and water, God promises to give the increase. This is both bad news and good news. We can't break the law of sowing and reaping any more than we can break the law of gravity. But if you sow kindness, you will reap kindness. If you sow generosity, you'll reap generosity. And if you sow love, you will reap love. And I just feel like that's what a business is all about, is kindness, generosity, love, being a servant to those that you are called to help. And so so many of us can go through times of just maybe dry land, dry barrenness. It's not raining. We don't know where to get the water from to even, water these seeds. And yet the temptation is to just stop. But my advice is simple. Just keep loving the seeds that you have sown. Keep praying, keep obeying, keep giving, keep loving, keep serving. And if you keep sowing the right seeds, the harvest of the blessing will come in God's time and in God's way. And that's always better than our own ways, right? So if we do the little things like they are big things, then God will do the big things like they are little things. So ending today, just praying for you ladies, for your business, for your families, marriages, relationships, and everything that you're going through, big and small. Love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.